What's good, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters: Christian Asher, Zian Sai, Christian Simpson, JPC2, Ace Attorney Fan 621, Alunar, Joseph Vega, Cryptic Circus, Donald Fuller, Wet Dream JK, Kaiser Sani, Joe Hardy, Cameron Hofstra, Plague Monk 42, Robert Wogtall, Terrell Drux, Dylan Gibson, Alex Soli, Christian Pewter, Iron Metallica, Miracle, Joshua Webb, Brianna, OXL, Benjamin Sapp, Alpha X Shroom, Jordan Jardine, Haley Mitchell, Leon Lunge, Nick, now
how did I get here?
Jermaine Manji Jr., and Gavin King. And I would also like to thank our executive producer, The Enemy Hybrid, and welcome our new executive producer, Joshua Fix. Thank you all very much for your support, and if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to click the link down below to find out more. We'll see you there.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered will be released, and I am so excited about that. That's how myself and my peer group, we were all introduced to these things. September 4th, that's going to be a great day for me to get to rock out.
I think everyone here has a fair dealing with Animal Crossing. I mean, Nick, you played the new Animal Crossing when it came out. A fair amount.
I know it exists.
Yes.
And Isabelle is apparently a brute in Smash Bros.
She is. She is. Her and Villager both are kind of brutes. But, yeah, whenever Quinn plays as Isabelle, it's always either Isabelle, Lukas, Ness, or the Villager. Those are Quinn's main four right there. And Quinn just spams the hell out of different... Like PK Fire, PK Fire, PK Fire, PK Fire. That's all you hear whenever it's Lukas.
I was doing a really good job of getting out of that last time.
Yeah.
I was just like, come on, you little shit.
Yeah. And then, of course, whenever it's Villager and Isabelle, plant the tree, hunker down, chop it a couple times, hunker down behind it, and wait for people to get near it. And then whenever they try and hop over the tree, chop the tree down the rest of the way, the tree hits them and does a shit ton of damage. That's just how they roll. God. Don't play Smash with Quinn, because Quinn is a spammer. Or do. I mean, if you can get Nick and I both found ways around it for the most part, but God, it was annoying. And also, Kenzie's pretty good too. Kenzie actually can game pretty good. Whenever you come up for another Smash Bros. Day, man, I mean, you're gonna have to play against Kenzie, because I'd love to see your Ganondorf or your Link versus Kenzie, because that'd be a pretty good matchup.
I didn't do too well with Ganondorf last time we played.
Yeah, but you did pretty good with Link, though.
Oh yeah, I'm a monster with Link. I mean, conventionally, I'm not professional or anything.
Well, no, just casual monster.
It's a little bit different now because they changed him up with the latest one. I'm not as familiar with Ultimate.
Well, Ultimate's still a lot of fun to play.
I guess what was it, Brawl?
Brawl.
The Wii?
Brawl is where things got a little weird. It's where the combat slowed down a whole lot. Whereas in 64 and Melee, the combat was like super stupid fast. And then Brawl came out, and it was a lot slower. And then they did the Project M build, which was made it a lot faster. And then the one on Wii U and 3DS was actually a good in between, I felt. Now Ultimate, I think, is leaned more towards Melee, a lot more quicker paced. I think that's what overall's made it a better game. All right, well, anyway, we're not here to talk about Smash Bros. We're here to talk about Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a game where you basically build a community and pay back Tom Nook for him giving you a plot of land.
Bells, man.
Huh?
Bells, man.
Yeah. So sounds like a fair trade, right?
It's essentially a shore simulator. And
I
finally realized that about it when I was playing the new one, and I was just like, you know what? Gonna have a lot of people throw things at my head, but I was like, this game really isn't fun.
For him, it was not fun.
It was fun for a while, but like when I started to think about what I was doing and where I was getting for what I was doing and the amount that I was getting for what I was doing, I was just like, this is just work. Like, and really doesn't have an end goal to it. So
I
have a lot of other games to play and experience the stories in and get through. So I think I'm done with this for now.
I know Shelby from Girlfriend Reviews, if she heard that, she would just be like, "What are you talking about?" And then she would just be like, "As I sit here after my 1,000th hour playing this game, doing the same exact thing, just trying to get one thing."
Yeah, there's a definition of insanity.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, definitely not a thing for everybody.
No, it isn't. But Jaden Animations made a video about Animal Crossing, and yeah. Everyone always wants to... Every time a new Jaden video comes out, people are just like, give it a watch, and we're just like, oh god. I wonder what she's gonna, like dredge up from our past now. Because I remember during the Pokemon ones, I was just like, oh my gosh, I forgot about some of that. But anyway, Animal Crossing used to be so much darker, according to Jaden. Let's hear what she has to say.
Ah, Animal Crossing. The game that's keeping most of the population sane while 2020 burns outside our windows. Like many fans of the franchise, I have a very special place in my heart for Animal Crossing. See? I put it right there. Growing up, I loved video games, but I didn't have very many friends. Sad. And within those few friends, most of them weren't super into video games. Sad. So I grew up playing games either alone or with my brother. Sad. What I'm getting at is, I'm not used to being able to connect with people over video games, let alone get to experience them with my friends together. But the one game that my few friends did play was Animal Crossing Wild World on the DS. I remember playing Animal Crossing for hours, days, sometimes mostly weeks in a row during summer vacation with my best friend Kate. It was always the highlight of our summer, and depending on your point of view, that may or
That's
may not
another
be
thing I
depressing.
don't
My
understand
family...
about Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a time-gated game.
Yes.
Like, you can only accomplish so much each day of real daytime without fast-forwarding the clock before you have extremely diminishing returns on any progress you make whatsoever. It's meant to be played in small doses day by day. Like, I don't understand how people... Like, I was hearing people saying, like, they got it and played, like, all day the first day, and I'm like, how? What was left to do? What were you doing the whole day? Like, just fishing?
Probably.
Oh my god,
Fishing,
that's boring.
Digging, just a number of
I
things.
don't get the being able to play Animal Crossing in, like, ridiculous chunks of time, like, at a time. It just doesn't work that way, it seemingly to me.
There's already someone out there, I think, without 5,000 hours in the new one, and
I don't get it.
Yeah, well, it's actually impossible. Actually, no, it isn't impossible. Because, you know, how long has it been out? It's been out since May?
I don't know.
I believe.
Yeah, I think it came out in May.
Yeah, so
I've
5,000 hours divided by 24. No, that's technically impossible. So okay, there's about someone with about 1,000 hours in it.
Unless you had a device that could save your place in time, like a video game.
But before that, Morty, hop in this vat of acid. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, back to this.
I also used to have a tradition to visit the rest of my family in Canada every July, so my brother and I would continue to play Animal Crossing with our cousins. Nothing could stop us. Not even the great borders of the United States of America. We had this game we made up where we all meet up at one person's town, dig a bunch of holes in the shape of a maze, and then one of us would chase the others around with a bunny hood, gas mask, and axe, like some sort of morbid tag. We called it the Bunny Game, which looking back was a bit misleading in the
basically
innocence
Dead by
of the
Daylight.
actual premise. When
Yeah,
Animal Crossing
they
New
predicted
Leaf was
Dead by
released,
Daylight.
Kate and I got our hands on it the day of our high school sophomore prom, and we very much wanted to ditch it entirely just for the game. It's not like we had dates or anything, but we ended up going anyway, and it was lame. All in all, I love Animal Crossing. I get that it's not a game for everyone because of its slow pace and open-ended nature, but it was one of the few games I got to experience with friends on a really deep level and collected a bunch of fond memories with. Now we have New Horizons, the game that parted the clouds.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Where the hell were all the girls in my high school that liked video games? I can't count a single person, a single girl I went to high school with, either a grade above me or a grade below me, that likes video games.
You gotta think we're older than she is, though.
Oh, she's around our same age. I think she's only like 25, 26.
I can literally think of one.
Just one?
Yeah, my buddy Wade's cousin. Like,
Damn.
I had a crush on her for one. Wait, two. I can think of two.
Okay.
I mean-
So my buddy Wade's cousin, my friend Brandy. Like, they liked video games. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like, in my whole high school.
That's...
Two girls.
Jesus.
We'll say, I mean, so say if we're kind of closer to 30, and we're 5 years older than her. I mean, think about the difference between, like, you know, if you were 15 and she was 10. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big generational gap in some respects.
Yeah, well, smartphones dominate.
Okay, now that I'm thinking about it retrospectively, though, I do actually know a couple more, but they were the ones that were also too shy to talk to you. So if you didn't go and seek them out, like, you would have never known. So basically, most of the girls that were probably shy and stuff seemed to be the gamers for some reason.
Yeah.
They were probably shy because they were ridiculed by the other women, like, you know.
Like, you like video games? Oh my God, you're
like,
such a
that's
loser.
a boy thing, like, especially when we were young, you know, like, that's a boy thing. Like, now it's, like, more accepted. It's like anybody can enjoy video games. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, but back when we were in high school, like, that was kind of still a thing. Like,
kind of
boys
a
play
loser
video
thing.
games, girls don't do that. Like,
yeah.
You know, so
video games have become more mainstream now, and you know, more people are not afraid to say that they like them anymore.
There were even still dudes in my high school that thought playing games was like a wussy thing to do, and like that you were a fucking nerd if you did.
Yeah.
So.
I encountered that like my freshman and sophomore year, but as I got older, like junior and senior year, is like I don't really care what people think anymore.
I don't think games actually started to get super mainstream until around Skyrim, honestly.
2011,
Skyrim was one of the
2012.
first games where I was like, even people I know that like don't play video games are like, yeah, Skyrim's bitching. So
yeah. Well. It's just that blows me away, but yeah, it's probably a generational thing. Anyway, back to it.
And descended upon us when the world needed it most. I like the game a lot.
And
I've got
Doom
my
Eternal.
gripes, which I'll get to at some point, but while playing the game, I started thinking about the original, Animal Crossing for the GameCube. I had a GameCube growing up, but my mom didn't buy Animal Crossing for us, so that meant I had no idea it existed. That's just how the world worked for me back as a kid. If my mom didn't buy it for me, then it didn't exist. So now,
Wow.
as an adult, I've started to make the connection that not only do I have my own money to buy my own video games, but I can do whatever I want, mostly. And using that newfound power, I've decided to go back to the basics and experience firsthand the beginning of one of my favorite game franchises. What's changed? What secrets have been hiding from me? Well, I guess we're about to find out together. The classic train scene. Rover walks over and asks if he can sit with me, promising not to fall asleep and drool on my shirt, to which I reply, "No way! Wow, it's nice to know there's still plenty of rude people in the world," and he sits there anyway. So you go through the typical beginning of an Animal Crossing game. Who are you? I'm Jaden. Where are you going? Mustard. What's your credit card number and mother's maiden name? September 27th. My friend has a house for you because you're stupid. Okay. You arrive in town, meet Tom Nook, and he offers to let you check out the vacant houses he's got. Let's see. We've got medieval torture dungeon, haunted backyard garden shed, Chinese sweatshop locker room, and 15th century empty pool. Yeah, I'll take a locker room, please. After settling on a place, Tom Nook asks for the payment of 19,800 bells, to which I realize I have nothing, so I'm like, no. And he's like, you better freaking give me the money. So I'm like, here, to which he realizes I barely have even 0.05% of what he wants from me, and he straight up laughs in my face. You only have 1,000 bells? You're joking with me, right? Why, you're so short, I can't help but laugh.
damn.
So he puts me to work at his shop to earn the rest of the money. You get various tasks to complete for Nook, be it planting nice flowers around his shop to make it look nice. I planted them around my house. Meeting the other villagers, making deliveries. Bro, when I delivered this Sue chick her, signed copy of the Notebook on Blu-ray or whatever junk she ordered, she completely just destroyed me out of nowhere. Boy, that's mine. Why do you have it, Jaden? Are you working for Tom Nook or something? Oh, you are? How amusing. You mean to tell me you didn't have enough money to buy a house when you moved? Well, how silly. Were you the mental run to the litter or what? Oh, I'm just having a little fun with you. I suppose everyone has to take a bold step once in their lives. So, you must not have any money to buy furniture. Don't be ashamed. Here, take this blue wardrobe. You simply must take it. I bet you go home to a sad little empty house every day, don't you? It may not be much, but beggars can't be choosers.
bitch!
And that's when I realized how absolutely brutal this game had the capability of being. I heard that it could be sassy at some points, but I was straight up murdered by this gothic drag queen pig just for being a delivery boy. You can't say that to the, like, Amazon Prime delivery guys. What the heck? That's how you get your stuff smashed. So you know what I did? I sent the biggest guy in town, Rocco, a letter and used my smooth talking skills to try and send him a signal and take care of her. And just in case that didn't work out, I made a community bulletin board post to warn the others. After you finish being a corporate wage slave, the game finally becomes the Animal Crossing experience I'm used to. Catching bugs, finding fossils, waiting an entire week for Tom Nook to finally sell a stupid fishing rod. I'll admit, coming from New Horizons, the original Animal Crossing doesn't have much to offer. Maybe it held up better in the past, or I was able to have more fun with it because I was younger and easier to be entertained, but I found myself strapped on things to do. Sure, I could fish for 2 hours straight to make money, but I could also just play another game. Why I think New Horizons is the best game in the series so far, big asterisk on the so far, is that it saw where players were taking the franchise and ran with it far beyond what we could have hoped for. Oh, people really enjoy being able to customize their house and are using the little pattern spaces to make cool paths for their town? Well then let's give them a bigger town, and more pattern spaces, and hundreds of new and modernized furniture items, and let them put them outside wherever and however they want, and let's let them shape the earth and sea. I've put hundreds of hours into New Horizons already, and I'm not nearly done with the game. My island still looks like crap. I played the original Animal Crossing for a week or two, and could only put at max an hour into it per day, because I ran out of things I wanted to do. Oh, so New Horizons is the most superior game in every possible way, right? Ha ha ha, no. While New Horizons has much more for you to do, the thing I think the original Animal Crossing got right that the new one doesn't is the villagers. Since I would get bored of continuously failing at fishing in the GameCube version, I found myself talking to the villagers much more often, and that's where I had the most enjoyment. The conversations with the villagers in the GameCube version have so much flavor. Sure, Sue-E called me a mental runt of the litter just a minute ago, but that brought out something in me that New Horizons hasn't been able to do within 300 hours of me playing. Talking to the villagers in the GameCube version made me remember why I liked the game so much as a kid. They say and do interesting things. I don't know if it's just me, but New Horizons has some of the blandest text I've seen in Animal Crossing yet. It feels like what they say is limited to like 5 things, and I honestly don't enjoy talking to them and haven't built a single connection
Even
to any
New
of them
Leaf
on
had
my
better
island.
dialogue,
I
I
don't
feel
care
like.
who moves in, just so long as they're really super hot. I'm talking hunkalicious. Feels like it's been raining all the time lately. I hate getting wet. Jaden, you feel the same, right? No, actually, I don't really mind. Oh, really? Well, why don't you just stay in the rain then, since you love it so much? And I hope you catch a cold! I don't know what it is about me, but I seem to be just as popular with boys and girls. It's madness. Meanwhile, in New Horizons... Hi, Jaden. Sometimes I like to sit. No, I don't want any! I'm telling you for the last time, you foul creature! Go away, hippie! Oh, wait, it's just you. I thought it was another one of those weirdos handing out tissues. Hi, Jaden. I've been having a good day. Alright, see you later. Shrivel up and blow away, shrimp! At one point, I walked up to Sue-E, and she just started screaming. I'm begging you! Would someone please change that hideous town tune? Jaden, I highly doubt you have a talented bone in your body, but you do seem to be able to run fast. So be a dear and go change that horrible music, would you? So of course, I changed the town tune. Anything for Sue-E, her wish is my command. I'll say, normally I'm not a big town tune changer in the games, but this one made me laugh.
Is there a train crossing?
Is that better, Sue-E? You like that? I wasn't expecting to have an arch nemesis in Animal Crossing again, because it hasn't happened to me since Wild World, but Sue-E really just came into my life and slapped me around, begging me to hate her. Say, didn't you owe Tom Nook a fairly large sum of money? I was just wondering, did you ever manage to pay him back? Well, what's it to ya? Wow, you seem a little touchy, Jaden. I guess you're still just a burden to society. But that's what Nintendo got wrong in the new games. I want drama. I want enemies and bloodshed. The animals in New Horizons feel like just objects for me to judge on appearances and get items from. All in all, I very much like Animal Crossing. I know New Horizons isn't for everyone and is far from perfect, but I'm a big fan of the type of game it is, and the cons don't outweigh the pros for me. Do I wish the villagers had a shred of life to them? Yes. Do I hate the new music they wrote for it and desperately want to have the old music back? Yes. But I can put my Godzilla statues together like they're on a date. Is the old Animal Crossing lacking in objectives and even slower than I could have imagined? Yes. But at least I get verbally abused by my neighbors and can hit Sue E with my net.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard, oh god, Ari. So if you haven't heard, James just announced his new game, Cafe Chaos. It's a turn-based card game where you build food combinations and try to win a food fight against your opponents. There's different abilities and characters you can play as, and if you get the Animator expansion pack, you can find me in there with Ari and a lot of other animators. My food card is pasta with no sauce. It's a fun game James and his team worked really hard on, and what else are you gonna do during quarantine? You can check out more details by going to the Kickstarter. I put the link in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I didn't know what to expect going into the game, but I'm sure glad I did, because that was a whole experience. Alright, talk to you later, bye.
Okay. So yeah, I remembered friggin' Jesse Cox a long time ago talking about the original Animal Crossing, and he was like, it's just like after a while, you know, I just got tired of playing it, and then I left for like a week, and then I come back a week later, and like my grass is overgrown, and my favorite neighbor, who was like a camouflage frog, moved out, and I was like, what? Why did Camo Frog leave? And the guy that moved in was like this jerk of a rhino, and he was just like, oh, you think you're so special, and I just kept hitting him with my net like bonk, 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 and just like kept making him mad, and then eventually like an orange cat moved in, and I was like, oh, we're the best friends ever, and then orange cat moved away, and I was so sad, and then Jesse Cox was just like, I like to imagine in my head, just because I hate that rhino so much, that the rhino actually came over and ate Orange Cat. Like, he would be like he would and I was like, that's a very dark way of taking that game, Jesse. And now that I see Jaden's thing on it, I'm like, that actually makes sense now. Yeah. Because, you know, she pointed out, like, there's people who are sassy towards you in that game.
Yeah, as good, quote unquote, as the new game is, I definitely do think they kind of dropped the ball on like their original thing that made it such a unique and fun game, which is the villagers. Like, yeah. I didn't think about it that way until this video, but so even on New Leaf, right? There was a mechanic where still like that was a mechanic in the game. If you left your town for a while and shit, you could come back and your favorite villager might have just up and left and moved out. And then one of the reasons I haven't touched the new game at all, like for a little bit, I was at least hopping on like once a week. I was like, I got to play at least a little bit because I don't want my villagers that I like to just be like poof, you know? Yeah. Apparently they don't do that anymore. Apparently you have to actually give them permission to leave. They're prisoners on your island.
Yeah, that's illegal.
So there's no sense of like illegal. I have to be in here interacting with my villagers or they'll all leave. But also, even though like I was excited about like the new character because I was like, oh, they made a little character based off of like the grandma that plays Animal Crossing on videos and stuff. Yeah, like,
that's sweet.
And then she moves into my town like the first week I'm playing, and I was like, hey, I got grandma, like awesome. It's just the dialogue and everything is not nearly as unique as it was on New Leaf on the DS. Like, and it's a console game. I'm just like, they didn't put seemingly hardly any time into like fleshing out the characters this time around and making them fun to interact with, so that's kind of disappointing.
Well, that's what I would do. I if I were them, I would flesh out the characters and also add in the new mechanics, because if the thing that people remember the most about your games originally is one reason why they keep coming back to them, you know, the characters and all that, you know, the building mechanics and, you know, the ability to customize your house however the heck you want it. I mean, expanding it out to the island and also having a lot of other, like, people, like having someone come over and add their own stuff to it and everything. I mean, they've done that before, but this, you know, just the level of customizability is amazing.
It feels like they focused too much on what people said they really liked about New Leaf to the point that they neglected the whole reason they originally kind of made the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's cool if you improve on one aspect to the point that it makes it a pretty fun game, but it kind of sucks if you lose out on something else that was always a good thing about your game because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is because of that, but it feels like it's because of that.
Well, again, dude, I mean, video game companies, they don't get it right all the time. For instance, Mario Party, I remember when Mario Party, it stopped being about, like, party maps, everyone can go their own direction. Instead, you're all in a car and you're all moving together. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of lazy.
Point of Mario Party.
That's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
If they added that in, and some people like that, I'd have some maps where you could do that. But overall, it would keep the overall party atmosphere. It's like, oh, I want to go this direction. I want to go that direction. Oh, look, there's cannons over there. Oh, wait, I can choose to fire on one person on the map. Oh boy, I can't wait to use this. And it's like there's varying ways.
Can't wait to make my friends hate me.
Instead of Mario Party, maybe they should have just called it Mario Karty.
Maybe. You know what? They need to combine like aspects of Mario Party and Mario Kart, because think about this. Think about if they had a story mode to where you picked a racer that you got to do, or you could come in as your me, and you could effectively run the circuit, and it gets more challenging and more challenging. And then and then there's online challenges that you can do. It's like, hey, you gotta do this online. I mean, there's varying ways that they can play, and also different car-based games that they could do, because they got the battle one. It's like you chase them around and you throw shells at them. Woo, that's fun and all, but there's varying ways that you can make the gameplay more engaging and more
more
fun.
Turn it into a drinking game.
Yeah.
That's actually what we did at my buddy's bachelor party. I don't drink, but the rule was we had to chug whatever we had
Did you chug your water?
before we had to cross the finish line in versus. So yeah.
So you chugged your water like
yeah, it got pretty sickening after a while.
Of course it would, man. I mean,
I won most of the matches though, because it was 664 Mario Kart.
Oh, you dominated that?
Well, against them, yes. Against the computer, no. On 50cc, I'm pretty beast, but anything higher than that, I just keep falling in the water, and the computer just has no mercy whatsoever.
No. Yeah. 150cc, I finally mastered it on Mario Kart 8. The shortcuts are paramount if you want to be successful at that. 200, I won a lot of them, but at the same time, I didn't get like a perfect rating. But mirror, to hell with mirror mode. I hate mirror mode so much.
The best getting I ever got, or best time I ever got was I went off of the jump in Wario Stadium right when they triggered the lightning.
Oh no, and you dropped down.
And so I was shocked. So I spun out and was little, and then the guy that did it ran me over right behind me. So I squished and paper floated to the bottom. So it took forever.
Oh, that's hardcore, man.
Yep.
I would turn the game off at that point.
Well, I mean, I was playing with other people. I was going to.
Well, yeah, true. Okay,
it was
yeah,
bad.
That would ruin it.
It was bad.
That would ruin it for everyone.
It was more than just getting lapped. I was so far behind.
Dude,
it was rough.
I remember that one. Like, if you really wanted to screw someone, Wario Stadium, red shell, right as they go to the jump, pow, they're done. Yep. They're instantly half a lap back, pretty much. Jesus.
Talking about brutal games from our past.
Yes. And I'm glad they haven't put that back in, because that was a crap way of doing it. Although, how they would probably do it now is they'd probably have like a thing on the jump to where if you fell down, it would pick you up and take you back.
Oh, the little Lakitu would pick you up.
Yeah, the little Lakitu would come fish you out of that and take you back. It'd be they'd have effectively an out of zone box up above it. I don't know.
The one thing I will give to Nintendo is they are keeping our childhoods alive.
They are.
Than most other companies. It's
they are.
My childhood is essentially Zelda and Metroid, and the last Zelda game that came out was different, but still pretty good. And
yeah.
I'm really stoked about hopefully them eventually finishing Metroid Prime 4. So.
Which now that Retro's working on it, you know it's gonna be pretty damn good because.
Well, I was like, everybody else was pissed because they're like, yeah, we're basically starting over, but I'm like, I'm fine with that. If it wasn't gonna be good and up to your expectations, like, dude, make a great Metroid game. I'm super stoked to
I
play
do
it
like how they're willing to take
whenever
time
does
on it
come
because
out.
they won't let it be bad.
Yes,
They care about it too much.
Like, I would much rather have an amazing one than a rushed one for sure.
I
Any
agree.
day. Like, I always think it's goofy when people get pissed over delays, and I'm like, dude, if it's not worth releasing, you're just gonna hate on it if it comes out. Like
exactly.
tomorrow.
Jesus. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end it here before we keep reminiscing about our past and wind up going past our expiration dates. But anyway, thank you all very much for tuning in. This was Jade Animations Animal Crossing. Used to be so much darker. If you want to check out more from Jade Animations, feel free to click her name in the title of the video. It will take you directly to her channel. She deserves all the attention that she's getting, and then some. And also, until next time, I'm Nate.
Micah.
I'm Nick.
We'll see you then, everybody. Peace out.